All right. I'm going to show you how to learn 100 words a day or more in whatever language you're learning. So pay attention because this is very important. If you can learn a lot of vocabulary fast, you will very quickly be able to understand and speak the language. If you learn vocabulary very slowly, then it will take years for you to be able to understand and speak the language. So vocabulary is extremely important and you should learn it fast, right? So the first thing you will need is a list of vocab like this. So these are words in the target language. Here, the translation. You see they are ordered alphabetically, so they are next to other words that look similar and they're related. And this is a list that I got from my language islands. These are my sentences, like the first sentences I learn in a language are my own sentences, the things I want to be able to say first. So you should develop your language islands first. You need a couple thousand sentences. I mean, the more the better, but you should write everything that you want to be able to say and then translate it, get a nice text like this, and learn those sentences first because that's what you will use, just what you will be saying most of the time. So you should learn those really well. And then you take that translated text and you create a list like this. The numbers here, by the way, um, how many times each number indicates how many times this word appears in the complete list of sentences. So the higher the number, the more important the word, basically. But again, not that important for now because we will learn all of them with enough time and relatively fast. So what we're going to do is take the list and start memorizing the words with mnemonic associations. We will not memorize every single word because we will also do other things. And a lot of these words we'll learn them in context. I could tell you to learn the whole list, this list, with okay, comprehensible input. You read it and listen to it a trillion times until you know the whole list. And it can work. If you create audio files, and you should create audio files, and you listen to your own lines translated over and over again, several hours a day, and you read them over and over again, in a few months you'll probably be able to recognize everything and say it as well. Not very well, but you'll be able to say these sentences. But if we want to save time and get results faster and sooner, we'll need something else. So, yes, by all means, read and listen to the list as many times as possible, shadow it, all that. But let's memorize the vocab because if you can recognize words from the very beginning, listening and reading will be much easier, right? So you'll need less time, much less time spent reading and listening. So let's start memorizing. So we are going to need mnemonic associations. So we take the word, and if you are Turkish, sorry for my terrible pronunciation, I just started learning. So we're going to take the word and the meaning. This is not us, by the way. This is US. Just translated. It's just written like that for some reason, but it means US. Like here, right? So ABD means US. How do we? Because it's not ABD, it's ABD. It's in like America, whatever this means. Uh, so, but we'll use ABD, and we'll need something that sounds like that. So Abdul, so, for example, it's a guy I know. I'm sure you know some Abdul, and you visualize him, but you visualize him with like all this stereotypical American stuff, like U.S. flags, MAGA hat, whatever. Actually, it's a pretty funny, yeah, it's a pretty funny mental image. I don't think the Abdul I know, any of the Abduls I know, would like that, but anyway, you just visualize it, and the more vivid it is, the better. Yeah, you create a mental image, and that's it. It's unlikely that you'll forget it. This unnecessary because it's the same word. That's why it's important to do it like this alphabetically, so you learn them in groups, so you learn more words. These endings, like, not really important for now. That you will learn in context. This, for me, they're easy. Maybe you need, because like Abonnenten of Deutsch and in German is subscriber. So for me, when I see it, I just recognize it. If you don't, if you don't recognize it because you don't know languages that have a similar word for subscriber, then I don't know, Bond, like James Bond, or uh, yeah, AB, something with AB and then one. Think of something and then the subscribe button of YouTube. Abu, I don't know. This is a name, I guess. Although it's from my phrases, so I don't know. Anyway, you don't need to do it with every one of them, right? Just do as many of them as possible, as fast as possible, and visualize them well so they stick and you remember them. And then just read and listen and do all of that. So ach is open, and acha is axe in Spanish. So for me, yeah, I just visualize myself using an axe as a can opener, for example. Yeah, it's pretty easy to visualize. I've never tried that. I've used an axe a lot in the farm, but I've never tried opening a can with it. Should be fine. Achajagin or Achajagin. Again, pronunciations for another video. This is for vocab. So okay, open, opener, related, opened by. All of this we can basically, all the way here we can just put them together. Although this gin, like bottle of gin maybe, and you can visualize yourself opening a opening using an axe, un hacha, to open a gin bottle of gin, for example. Uh, Angle, achidan, looks like acid, like you throw it and burns. You don't throw it, people, but yeah, that's what you see in films, right? An angle was, I think, wasn't that guy from like the WWE, like Kurt Angle, the guy with the ball guy. I think you probably know if you used to watch that stuff when you were younger. Maybe you know who I'm talking about. Just an Olympic athlete or something. Just visualize someone throwing acid at him. Not nice again, but if you visualize it, you'll remember it. A chick, um, yeah, it's related, so nothing. You don't need to create associations for words that are related. For this, obviously, these kind of words just they're too complicated. Unless you can think of a scene, like very clearly think of a scene in a film or something where someone's saying it, and you very clearly visualize that scene of the film where someone uses that word. These kind of words, don't do it because it's very difficult because it's not something tangible, right? Uh, Achikiorum, and I'm hungry. And the autumn thing is I do, or like me. The endings change depending on my language is like that. So this part we don't need to visualize it because we learn them through yeah, just pattern recognition. Although you could also always create some mental image for this for the ending. So I'm and maybe like rum, bottle of rum. I don't really like rum, but so every time it's I do something with that whatever thing that I add a bottle of rum to that, or we can do that also for the initial word. We'll do some of that later. Maybe not for Turkish. That's better for languages like Russian, where there's a lot of prefixes. So chikiorum, so chick, visualize chick, or oro is gold in Spanish. So visualize a chick that's really hungry, and it's in the gold. Oro. Uh, yeah. Statement. This not necessary. Explain to explain. Yes, if you can visualize explain, then think of it. How can you visualize explain, and then uh, chick, lamb, chick explaining something to a lamb, like to the animal. And you always have to visualize them, right? Explain, pathetic, explains. It's less than 10 minutes, and you see I've done a lot. And normally I can do it much faster if I'm not explaining everything, just visualizing. Doesn't mean that I'll remember all of these words, of course. No, but I create the mental images really fast, and then I quickly, like at the end of the session, just review it from top to bottom. Also, you should learn to read faster so you can review it very quickly. If you can do a lot of reviewing, uh, it's much easier to remember, and you can review a lot more if you can read faster. Right? So you read it like this. Okay, I don't remember this one. Okay, the ones you don't remember, you look at them. If you can read fast enough, you can just quickly read both like that. Like, wait, chick deer, chick team, Jim, rural, brutal. I'm American now. Brutal, brutal. Achimas, chim. Um, can you visualize brutal? Then chim. Uh, sis. I can think of a lot of things, but none of them are very monetizable for YouTube. So I'm gonna skip that one. I think. But yeah, chim. I can think of a chimp, and then a chimp being brutal with s- cis sex. Yeah, you can get the idea. Again, you have to be very creative for this. You have to just constantly don't think of anything as stupid. Just think of words, and whenever you find something that you can create an image, a mental image, and the weirder, the more shocking, the better. As soon as you find something, just create a mental image. Uh, Something hurts. Chitior. Uh, chit. Yeah, it's a cheetah, like the animal, bites you and it hurts. You visualize that? They don't bite very hard. Right? They like I don't want to be bitten by one. But probably hurts, but they're not like lions. Uh, Chiorus. Ada. Here, you start seeing patterns. Ada Island, Adalari Island. So my guess is that, and we'll see that later, but the L makes it plural. But we'll see. Um, so basically, islands are very easy to visualize. And then a dollar, this a dollar sounds like a dollar, right? The money. So just visualize a bunch of islands, then like lots of $1 bills there or money there in general, dollars like US dollars. But you have to visualize it, right? Otherwise, it doesn't work. Adam, man, uh, yeah, this one's easy. Either Adam from like the Bible or Adam Sandler, whatever. Man, not gonna get into debates of what is a man these days, but I think we're getting a lot more flexible like with that these days. But I think what differentiates a man from a woman are very specific body parts, right? So you can visualize Adam Sandler, for example, and well, we went there. And of course, all of these are related. You see, it's already 40, and yeah, it's 15 minutes. But normally I do this like 3 or 4 times faster because I'm not explaining. Uh, Adi, and you see, all of these are related. You just have to then. I'm not doing it now, but normally you have to just read it. You read the whole list after of related words after doing it with after memorizing the first one with an association. And it doesn't mean that you remember all of them perfectly, of course not, but it will be enough because it's the same word in 10 or 12 different forms. So it's enough to remember it, and then when you see them in context, it'll be much easier. Again, why do this like this instead of in context? Well, because it's going to, from every time you see one of these words, you're going to see 500 other words between each one of these. So you will not remember. But if you see them like this and you read them in like on a list, it's much easier to remember because it's just repetition after repetition. Adi. Adi is short for Adolf in German. So what's your name? Adi. Adi was the Adidas comes from that. By the way, it's the girl was called Adolf. The Adolf Dassler. Adi Dassler. Uh, for name, either visualize somewhere where you write your name, like you sign, for example. Step Adim. Can't think of anything. Steps are easy to visualize, but not dim. Dime. Yeah, I need to think of this one. Adin is their name. I remember that. Agirlik, Ayirlik. Weight, girl. It's easy, right? Girl. Weight, either a really fat girl weighing herself or a girl lifting weights. Or a really fat girl lifting weights while being like while weighting herself. Everything at the same time. So you're reinforcing the like the word. If you create several different associations, it's easier. Aggressive, aggressive, agrid, third, grid. Someone really greedy, and he he has to pay you, and it really hurts him, like in a cartoonish way. But it's already 20 minutes almost. Yeah, let's. I'm gonna end it here, but you get the idea. Normally, in 10 minutes, I would have done over 100 words easily of this. Again, doesn't mean I remember all of them, but then the only thing I need to do is take the audio file of this, listen to it while reading, and I'll recognize a lot of these words. And tomorrow I'll come back, keep doing this, memorizing them with associations, and after I'm done for that day, then I'll go back and I'll quickly review the list from the ones and review the ones from today. Tomorrow I review the ones from today, and then the day after I review both days if I've got the time. And if you can read fast, you can review quickly the list because it's not reading a whole text. And if you read in sentences, it takes longer. But if you just read word meaning. Again, people will say Anki is better for this. Anki is way slower for this. Um, this way, you can review thousands of sentences a day if you've been doing mnemonics. So you can learn 100 new words, not 100% learn, but you can learn them pretty well. And then in a week or two, if you keep reviewing the list, you remember all of them. And if you're, especially if you're also listening to the audio file and you seeing them also in context. You're listening to them in context. But again, reading fast extremely important. You memorize with associations, and then you review by listening to the list, by shadowing the list, by saying them aloud, and by reviewing the list very quickly. Speed reading, right? And this is how you learn thousands of sentences very quickly to understand and speak any language.